Well, hi everybody. Ken Johnson here with you. It's been a few days since we have done one of these Facebook Live, one of our Facebook Live transmissions here, our little things we do here. So I thought I'd get on here for a little bit and talk some, and then we will, of course, we'll jump back off here pretty soon. Won't be on too long. We'll talk about weather we might expect. Of course, last week we had all the nasty weather. This week the weather is better, at least in terms of that, but still pretty gross weather headed in for the next couple of days. But we need more rain. We're doing a lot better, and I like the way the weather patterns are looking now. I think we're set up better for wetter weather as we head into the next year, and that could also include this spring. So I'm pretty excited about that. So we are doing at least a little bit better in terms of that. But, we still got a ways to go, and we still need to try to do as good as we possibly can, weather-wise, rain-wise. But we do have some wet weather on the way for tomorrow. So get ready for that. It was really nice, warm today, up close to 80 in some areas. And then tomorrow will be a lot cooler. It's going to be pretty windy, and will also be a bit wetter. And remember, you can ask me questions here. I'm going to take a few minutes here so we can we'll take some time here to answer some questions and talk about things going on, and just talk about the Super Bowl a little bit, and we'll talk about weather. So let's talk first about what's going on weather-wise tomorrow. And if you look, those are temperatures that I'm showing there. But if we take a look. Let's put on we'll start by showing winds, and I'll show you when that front's going to arrive. And if you take a look here at this, give me a second to get this to pop up. Sometimes it runs a little slow, especially runs a little slow when I'm trying to run some big programs on this little computer here. I need a new graphics card is what I figured out. It's need a bigger graphics card would do a lot better for smoother things that I'm trying to do here. So these are the winds, and what you're going to notice is the winds are going to switch directions, and they're going to become northerly. So out ahead of that front, at least for right now, we have south winds over us. And see, there's a bit of a lag. I'm telling you, it's my graphics card that does all this. But if you look, there the winds are. You can see the winds changing directions out of the north. Here we are at midnight, and then after midnight we have north winds. Pretty blustery behind that front, and tomorrow it's like a pretty windy day too, and it's those north winds that are going to be driving the temperatures down some. We can take a look at rain chances. Now, this is from the HRRR computer model, and the HRRR computer model is notorious for being overdone sometime, as we learned last week with precipitation. So I take a lot of this stuff, especially after we missed that one so bad, with a grain of salt. But it does show, after midnight tonight and towards morning, the front pushes through. And then behind the front, we start getting showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms to develop. It doesn't look particularly widespread and heavy. A lot of what we're seeing is scattered activity here. So it's hard to throw a how much rainfall are we going to get type of scenario out there with this type of a setup. This looks to me like most of us probably just get lighter showers, but if you get underneath one of these heavier showers, you can see the rainfall amounts pick up some. Now, one thing that the HRRR model is trying to do is it's trying to bring quite a bit of shower activity into the eastern parts of the area on Wednesday. A lot of our other weather information not quite as optimistic with that. So my rain chances for tomorrow are only around 60 to 70%, honestly. So we'll kind of see how things go from there. So it looks like tomorrow could be a little bit wet. Now, what about longer range? What does longer range weather data look like? How do we look for the rest of the month of? What is this now? What month is this? February. Valentine's Day is almost here. So I'm going to broaden this out a little bit, and we're going to take a look at the long-range weather data to see what the weather pattern may look like. I'm not going to show sophisticated weather models. What we're going to do is we're going to look at temperatures. So with that, we can kind of get an idea. All right, let me find what I'm looking for here. I don't know that that's what I'm looking for here. Why can't it just say, oh, there we go. No, I don't know why I can't just say temperatures and why does it have to do this? Okay, I think I'm wrong on this. All right, so let me go here. All right, now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of show you, we're not done with winter. Matter of fact, it was a really warm day today, weather-wise. Some places got up close to 80. But we're not done with winter by any stretch of the imagination, not even close. There's still a lot of cold air sitting up in Canada and up in Siberia. Some of the notoriously, February can notorious, I can't talk tonight, people, notoriously produce some really cold weather and nasty winter weather across our part of the country. Sometimes you use it all up, but we didn't use it all up last week. But if you look at temperatures, the weather system that's coming in tomorrow and the next day and Wednesday or this week isn't of Arctic origin. It's just kind of some colder air. We do see some really cold air across Canada. The question is, does that ever come south? And I think at some point it will. Some of the long-range data, a lot of it just keeps it north of us, but it does try to break off some of it and come into the north some, and you can even see some colder air trying to head down our way maybe towards the middle to latter part of the month. So while we're seeing some warmer air now, we may not be done with cold weather yet. That's some really cold air that's sitting up there. You can see, of course, this is, 16, 17 days out, 15, 16 days out, something like that, and you can see some of those areas up in Canada are 30, 40 below zero. So we're not done with cold weather yet. But the thing about February is February and March can be real interesting months weather-wise. You can see severe weather, you can see ice storms, you can see winter weather. Typically speaking, we don't see severe weather much here in February, but you can start trying late February across the southern U.S. You can try to start seeing some transition that tries to take place, and sometimes that can lead to some severe weather. So not here anyway, but in parts of the country. So that is something that we'll start looking at, especially as we get closer to March. Our severe weather typically kicks in here late March, sometimes mid-March, but late March, April, into the early to middle parts of May. That's our window of opportunity to see severe weather. And like I said, I do see signs that this is going to be a more active weather pattern this spring that could lead to better rain chances, which may ultimately lead to more severe weather too. It's been a while since we've seen a real bad severe weather, real active severe weather season in this part of the country. So, we are due at some point in time to get it. Let's see if anybody has, nobody's asking questions, which, I cannot totally understand that because, we don't have a big winter storm going on. We typically don't have we typically don't have a lot of interactions when we don't have like a severe weather or a winter weather event in there. So yeah, Tammy, my utilities are also it's the winter time that creates, big utility bills at my house. We have a heat pump. But and the heat pump does well. It cuts back on some of the electricity use, but it's when the temperatures get below 35, the heat pump doesn't do much good. So auxiliary heat cuts on, and that's when the electric bill goes through the roof. Try heating a 4,000 square foot home. That is not an easy thing to do. It is not easy to do. I've got 2 units. I need a third one, to be honest about it. And it just when it's cold outside, the heater runs a lot. It runs a lot. So yeah, I'm with you. And I don't use gas stoves. I have the glass top on my stove. I would rather use I'd rather use gas if I could, but I don't have a gas. I have electricity for that. I do have a fireplace, and the fireplace helps out some. But yeah, I don't like, if you follow me, I don't like the winter. I don't like the winter because of, I like to be outside and, I don't mind cool days. I like them actually, 50s, but it's the wind I don't like. I just don't like the wind. So yeah, Corey, my wife, told me that there was a Valentine weekend here, and they were going to PK or something like that. But anyway, a guy by the name of Gary Mayhem had I had rented a limousine to drive them to PK or something. But she said it was snow and the weather was real bad. So yeah, my wife actually, growing up in Mississippi, I used to think of living in a place where we got a lot of ice and snow because we didn't get brutal winters in Mississippi. I mean, it would snow a little bit, and it would get cold some, but not like it does here. So I used to think that I loved winter, but then I moved out here and I experienced a Texas winter. We live in a place where you get extreme weather. I mean, you really, really do. You get brutal hot summers, and you can get brutally cold snaps in the winter too, with ice and snow mixed in. And I just don't like it. But we also get a lot of nice weather days in the winter too, like today and yesterday. Fantastic weather days. Fantastic weather days. At some point this week, or at some point in the near future, I want to have the pet detectives on, talk about that a little bit. We've been having a lot of people that have been sending in pictures of dogs and whatnot that need rescuing, talking about, people that are trying to find. Matter of fact, I posted on my page earlier today a dog that needed a home. Of course, we do Emily's Legacy here at the TV station, so always a lot of good animals, a lot of good dogs out there that need good homes. So I always remember that. So we'll have. Oh, I've then lost train of thought. Whenever my wife messages me, I can see it on my phone there, so it kind of throws me off a little bit. Well, I mean, that's what La Nina does, Tammy. It's cold. You have warm with some cold spells. That's what you get. That's really any Texoma winter, though. If you think about it, it's mostly warm, but then you get some really cold spells. But it just seems like La Nina brings us really cold spells sometimes. And we're transitioning out of that more towards a neutral to even El Nino in the next year. So it'll be interesting to see. It's been a while since we've seen an El Nino. Usually it brings kind of cloudy, kind of gloomy weather, usually kind of a little wet. And it can also lead to it also can lead to a little increase, uptick in some severe weather sometimes. So we'll see how things go. Like I said, the weather patterns look a lot more active now, and that might help us out with more rain this upcoming year, which I hope it does. So we got the Super Bowl this weekend. I want to hear who you think's going to win. I will have my Super Bowl pick later on in the week. We'll talk about it some. Like I said, I'm going to try to have the pet detective on. At some point in time from down in Jacksboro. Trying to think what else is going on here, coming up here. Of course, we got severe weather season on the horizon. We got our severe weather special coming up in early March, which I'm in the process of, Garrett and I are in the process of producing. So we have a lot to do, a lot to get to, before that happens. My phone's about to die, so I'm not going to be on here much longer. I'm going to have some people on talking about storm chasing. We're going to talk about that some. I'd like to go do some storm chasing this year. So maybe if I get an opportunity, I'll get out there some. Nothing local, because if it's local, I'm going to be here at the station. But, maybe if there is a time or a place where there's some stuff out of the area, I'll have an opportunity to go. I try to do that once a year, as a matter of fact. I try to, when the severe weather threat's not here and I don't have to work, I try to go and do a little storm chase. And I've been up into the Dodge City area, Kansas, into the Texas Panhandle. I've done it there, and I've done it over towards Dallas before too. So, I may try to do that, and I'll try to stream some of that live if I do. So we'll have to just kind of wait and see how things go. These days, I'm so busy, I just don't have a lot of time for much. I'm actually in the process of training my Jazzy girl. She's 2 years old now. 2-year-old female golden retriever. I'm wanting to train her to be a scent dog. So I'm in the process of trying to figure that out, and it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of patience though, but she's pretty smart, so she's doing pretty good. So we're gonna have some fun things to do here on this. If you can ever think of anything you would like for me to talk about, we can do some research. We can talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about UFOs one day. Like how about the balloon that we popped yesterday or whenever it was, Saturday? We can talk about that some. Not tonight. I don't have time tonight to do it, but we can talk about that some. Talk about what implications that might have, on the U.S. here. Of course, whenever we get big weather events, we'll talk about that first and foremost. But when they're not, when we're quiet weather, we'll do other things too. I've got a lot of things planned to do out there. I want to try to do some. My son has a VR, and I want to try to hook that up here to this thing and do some VR weather. I think there's a weather app out there these days you can do VR weather with. I'm not sure, but maybe. What's good, Ryan? Every day I get to live another day is a blessing, right? Otherwise I can't think of much of anything. So I can't think of anything. I've just been busy. My wife's been sick for a while now. So hopefully she gets to feeling better before too much longer. Kids are doing their thing. They're at school and whatnot. I do not have big plans for the weekend, for the Super Bowl as of right now. No plans. Just plan on just watching it there at the house. Spent all weekend cleaning. That's when you got 5, 6 dogs is what you do. You got to clean a lot. In the backyard especially, it's just dirt. At some point I'm going to be planting some grass back there to try to get some grass to grow around there. Of course, it's a little early for that yet, but pretty soon I'll be planting some grass. Maybe I get Shane Naylor to help me out with that. You're welcome, Terry. You're welcome. It isn't a big update. We're just talking a little bit about the rain coming in tomorrow. This isn't ice. This isn't snow. This is just some showers coming in. Not everybody's going to get super wet. So I'll probably make something decent for the Super Bowl, Ryan. I've been doing some good. I kind of grilled some leg quarters last night. Those were real good. And then tonight I made pico chicken, which that was really good. I don't know what I'll do for the Super Bowl yet. Suggestions? Give them to me. Maybe I'll do some live cooking from the house this weekend. Super Bowl cooking. Of course, I'm not having anybody over. I mean, it's just me and it'll probably wind up just being me watching the game. My wife doesn't like football, so it'll probably just be me. All right, well, we got to go. We got to get ready for the newscast here. So I'll have some more stuff on here. I'll keep you updated on the rain for tomorrow, and I'll have some more stuff here on my Facebook and my YouTube page at some point throughout the week. Everybody have a great night. Stay dry and stay warm. It'll be pretty cool over the next day, so stay warm.